गणपतये नमः। ॐ गणपतये नमः। वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। ॐ गणपतये नमः।
जयधारी माँ। हर जीवन अनेक प्रकार के रंगों से भरा हुआ है। बातचीत वही रंग बांटेगी आप सबके साथ। हम सब एक हैं, बस सोच अलग अलग है। बटोर लीजिए उन रंगों को, जो भी आप चाहें इस बातचीत से, और ढाल लीजिए अपनी सोच में। यही मकसद है इस बातचीत का। आइए मिलते हैं अपने प्यारे से मेहमान से। अतिथि देवो भव।
जयधारी माँ आप सबको। जयधारी माँ। ग्रैटिट्यूड मम्मी। वी वेलकम आवर ऑडियंस। हमारी जो आज की अतिथि है, मैं आज थोड़ा सा इमोशंस पे बात करूंगी अर्ली ऑन बिफोर वी स्टार्ट द प्रोग्राम। What makes her special for me is her heart and how she looks at life and looks at people. उनमें एक बहुत ब्यूटीफुल क्वालिटी है which is very rare. She likes to see the good in everyone. She likes to see the good in every situation. That is what is making her so unique. And another emotion that makes her very unique is her softness. She's seen life, she knows life, but she's retained her softness. That's Raageshwari for me. Let's see a video on her, her journey, her various chapters of life, and get to know her. देखते हैं video.
Oh my goodness. So grateful.
जय धारी माँ, very welcome, very
Hari
welcome.
Ma.
जी, I think Mummy is going to join us. There must be a connectivity issue. We were having such a lovely conversation. Yes.
Saina, I just
Ji.
realized our backstage conversations are so
Yes.
interesting. We have
Yes.
to have backstage Baatcheet as well.
Yes.
Thank you. सोने नो सोना लगता है, सब कुछ सोना
Yes.
लगता है. That's you. So that's
Very
why
kind of
it's the truth. It actually is backed by science as well. And, right away, let's tell our wonderful students, our audiences, it is so interesting. If you really want to get to know people, hear the words they speak most often, because it not only tells you about the person's philosophy and psychology, but it also tells the science, because your ears are listening and your brain is now transforming itself. So the wonderful words you so kindly speak of me reflect you.
that.
You.
That's you have a beautiful heart, and that's where it's coming from. Tell me
Thank you.
what's very close to your heart. Which are the moments of your journey very, very close to your heart? Because they've all shaped you. They've made you who you are.
I
What's the
would
close?
say, yes, today at the age of 50, Sana, when I look back, with your permission, I'm calling you Sana, otherwise
Yes,
it's Sana
yes.
G, because you're
No, no,
younger than me. So
no, no.
lovely,
Please, please, please,
precious. I would
please.
say my breakdowns, so the phase when I was facially paralyzed and you lose complete financial breakdown and you lose the first relationship of your life
Yes,
because it means so much to a human being. You lose your career, you lose your voice, what you're known for. So that is very close to my heart. And today I know why. Because that's what our show is. I want to impact people immediately. Kiranji is here. Pranam, Koti Koti Pranam to everybody's guru, Kiranji. We were having so much fun backstage. Kiranji, मैं उन्हें बता रही थी, what's close to my heart is actually the breakdowns I've had. So the first was when I was facially paralyzed. At the
Please
peak of
come
the
back. I'm coming back.
Haji.
G, G. Yes,
Carry on.
yes, yes. Please, please, please. Yes. You've
You know,
gone through a, yes, it was a major challenge. Yes.
but for me it was major. But when you look at a broader perspective, which thankfully I could see and learn from, you then realize that the learning is in the breakdowns and how you can transform it into a breakthrough. So one of my talks that sort of went viral on my channel, because I really read the room and I understand what is it that people love to hear. They love to hear about struggles, they love to hear about breakdowns, because it helps people think, wow, if they can come out of it, so can I. But sadly, the digital world is filled with, oh, I've got a new Maserati car. Oh, I've got a new penthouse. Oh, I've got this, and I'm gifting my daughter this, and I'm gifting my husband this. And sadly, that is bringing down people and leading to depression. And that's why I tell people, stop comparing your life with others. And influencers or people who post, please stop exhibition and start inspiration. Be mindful, what am I posting? Will this help people feel uplifted? And so that's why I always remind people, if I could come out of that, so can you. And then I think, the other turning point in my life was in 2020 when my father passed away from COVID, because he was like my twin soul. I never sang not seeing him across the glass. So you're in a cubicle, and when you're singing, it was always my father. And this is a very interesting thing. The first song which went platinum was actually written for Asha Bhosle ji. So dad wanted to write for her, and Asha ji never heard the song. And my stars were rising with MTV. So मैंने तो वो डेमो बस गाया था. I was a bathroom singer. So I'm very honest. मैं bathroom singer थी. Dad ने बोला please demo कर दो. Dad was a national award winning musician wanting to make it. And this is a very important lesson for students who are hearing it, for educationists, because Kiranji and Saina are aware of this, that was so interesting. When your stars are aligned, things just fall into place. So the record companies are hearing this and the demo and saying, no, don't worry if you cannot get Asha ji to sing it. Who's the girl singing in this demo? My father said, no, no, this is my daughter, Raageshwari. And then the name is so unique, and Raageshwari was rising on MTV. They said, oh, is that the MTV VJ? My dad said, yes. They said, no, is that her singing? Please let her sing, even though I was so ordinary in the demo. But that's what I want youngsters to know, that when you're young, sometimes when you get that kind of success, you think it's your luck shining. No, I think there are far superior uh, talented people who never get their due, so that's why it's so important to remain humble in your successes, not and carry your successes lightly. And I always, of course, had my Sufi father who always told me, don't take this platinum record seriously. It's not got to do with you. Your luck is shining at this time. But so my career with music was so accidental. But naam tha Raageshwari, and it sort of followed me. And then, Lord was so kind, Kiranji, Saina, that, music, of course, Papa also wrote because he was writing always from an evolved, wise mind. So he always wanted to uplift people. तो वो सारे गाने बहुत maturely लिखते थे. We were not interested in popping eyeballs. Though even, of course, during Dunya, because we did not have resources to produce it ourselves. So we had people, of course, saying, अगर आप वीडियो कर रहे हैं, अब Maldives में shoot कर रहे हैं, she should be in a bikini. Why is she dressed, like the girl next door? And my father would say, because the song is talking about a girl next door. She's talking about believing in herself and being okay to be alone in life, but to really believe in her dreams. So how can we show a girl in a bikini? No, because we'll completely take away from the innocence and the vulnerability and the sobriety that comes with when we show up with grace. So we stuck to our vision. And let me tell you, this is so important for everybody to know, that the album was panned by critics. So when we opened the newspaper, there was not a single article that said the song is good. It was so interesting. And we said, what? So we were walking really dejected, but not my father, me and my brother, because Rishabh Bhaiya had directed. So it was a family getting together and trying to change the music scene. And we walked through, and there was, CBS huge music store at Church Gate in Mumbai. And we suddenly see number one, Dunya. So Dunya debuted at number one. So, of course, the success made it so huge. But I want the youth to know, whether the success comes or not, it's so important for you to believe in your product or believe in your vision. Because ultimately, that's what's yours. So people know how to find you. Just say Instagram or social media par bhi, there's so much pressure. Na? आप ये trending video करिए, आप ये trending song करिए. No, be yourself. So people know where to find you. And that's why, we were just talking backstage with Kiranji and Sanaji, with Saina, that the episode with Revati is so special because it's authentic. And so we know that Baatcheet is this beautiful community where students, educationists, people who own conglomerates can come and learn and say, wow, this is an in-depth show. It's not fast and furious. It's really getting to the core of the human mind. Yeah.
Can I request you to sing it?
Of course, Kiranji,
Please do.
absolutely. Oh,
Please.
Love you. Ji. So it went, मैंने दिखे सभी रंग दुनिया के, अरे हाँ ये दुनिया बड़ी रंगीली. And then the chorus was ta ta ra ri ra ra ta ra ri ra ra ta ra ri ra ra. हर रस में नया है नशा इसके, अरे हाँ ये दुनिया बड़ी नशीली. Ta ta ra ri ra ra ta ra ri ra ra ta ra ri ra ra. And of course, it would have been even more wonderful if Asha ji would have sung it. Would you believe that Asha ji gave me my first award for the song? So, you know how special life can be. But I still believe I was an ordinary singer. I'm an ordinary singer, just put in extraordinary situations. So it helped me look at my success in a more balanced way.
Who wrote this song?
It was my father. So it
Tell
was
us about
through.
tell us about Daddy. Please tell us about Daddy.
So daddy was a huge fan of yours, and you know he was the kind of father most girls should have, because he even after I got married, he would often tell me, what are you doing for yourself, what are you doing? And I would say, Dad, my entire team now is in Mumbai and I'm married. And he selected my husband for me, but he said, no, no, don't give me those excuses. You have your phone, do whatever you can with whatever you have. So it's such great advice, that start with whatever you have. Don't give these excuses. So my father, was born in East Africa. My grandfather worked, it was so interesting, for the British Raj in a railway. It was a railway officer. When my father was 7, they decided to come back. And my father grew in Punjab and then Delhi, and then won the national award in music. He always wanted to be a musician. And my grandfather said, don't waste time in all of this. Get into your family business and do something constructive. But my father was always on stage and always acting, singing, and writing music. And then he joined the small scale industries. So he was a government servant and kept denying promotions so that he could live in Delhi or Mumbai and not be transferred anywhere else, so that he could get some jobs as a singer and as a musician. So he met all the lovely music directors and lyricists who I now meet, like Javed Akhtar Saab and Gulzar Saab. So he would always meet them. But so he saw a lot of struggle in his life. And if you ask me, one of the memories as a child, and oh my goodness, this is trauma reenactment, as they say, it's such a science. And thank goodness for my mindfulness, because if they say if you've seen your parents struggle, then you will attract the struggle in your life, unless and until you've mindfully resolved it. So if you ask me about my childhood, Saina is getting emotional. I remember my childhood greatest moment, Saina, me being in Punjab. We were family holiday, and my father's coming because he had a phone call. And I assumed that he had a phone call with a music director who would give him a opportunity. And I would always say, Daddy, काम ban gaya? I remember this so clearly. And my father said, no, 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 ban jayega. So it was a background score to my life that both my parents were working. My mother was working in a private job. My father was in a government job. Is that
It's
okay?
going well. Yes,
So,
it's going very well.
uh, so it was such a background score to me, seeing my father struggle and not get his due, and my mother was in a job as well. So it was a simple family of trying to make ends meet, but we had a very mindful atmosphere at home, because every evening was eating together. So as research tells us that modern day parents, we're spending so much time with our children, but we're not present. And our parents, because I was born in 1975, so that generation, the parents were not spending all their time. I mean, we were just playing. I was on trees, climbing on trees. I would only come back home to eat. Rajma chawal, we would sit and eat and then go back again. But parents were very present. So that was quite a continuation of seeing my parents, my mother working hard and supporting my dad, and my dad really wanting a breakthrough in music, which he never got, and he got it through me. So Dunya for me was so special that I did
What
not
was your
even know
daddy's name? What's daddy's
Trilok.
name?
Yeah, Trilok Singh Lumba. So
Right.
Trilok, it's so interesting as to,
Yes.
by the time he finally made it with Dunya, and that's why he always told me, please never ever believe that you're a success because of your talent. And so true. Now I know it for sure, because I see so many actors, right, Kiranji? I see they've just started and they think that they are huge successes because of their talent and hard work. And I say, no, not really. There are a lot of talented people, a lot of hardworking people who don't get their due. So it's so important to carry your success lightly. Yeah.
But you lived many, many lives in one journey. In
I
your
feel
one
that.
life journey, lived many lives. Music was one. Which
That's
was
true.
the other?
Well, I after parallelly with music, I was an actress, and it was actually my brother, who's a filmmaker director, was assisting Shekhar Kapoor. Again, see, everybody, you're everybody's mentor, right? So Shekhar, of course, wrote the amazing series Udan, totally inspired by Kiranji. So Shekhar was directing Time Machine and Dushmani, various other films at that point. My brother was assisting him. So after school, I would actually just go with Rishabh Bhaiya. I didn't have the interest, or let me say, I really had such a humble approach of myself. I never ever thought that I would ever become or even capable of being a Bollywood actress. But I was always the comedian in school. So I was always on stage, but I love being funny, like being the sidekick, like the supporting actress always. So Shekhar would see me in the school uniform, and at that point, they were looking out for an actress to. Hello? Oh,
Yeah, yeah, carry on.
oh,
Yes.
sorry, no,
Carry on.
I've
No,
just
no.
lost. Sorry, my yeah.
You're fine.
So Shekhar said, "I'd love to cast her in Bobby's film. Let me do a screen test." I was just in the ninth or 10th grade. I found it very surprising. I thought maybe they're calling me to be his sister or something. But suddenly, when I landed at the photo shoot, I was surprised that they asked me to embrace him. I was so young, and a very traditional, simple home, which was so foreign for me to embrace. Which now is like, oh, please, everybody's second nature. It's so easy for everybody to do. It was really difficult for me to even embrace Bobby, but he was a gentleman. Uh, and then Shekhar said, oh, she looks really young. But Bollywood is fascinated, right, with young girls. My phone didn't stop ringing. Uh, and that's how I debuted into movies. Would I say, I work a lot on psychological safety, Kiranji. You are a guru in that, in creating that for people. And I've studied it. And interestingly, I can see why they say that psychological safety is important for students and professionals to perform in. And I had no psychological safety when I was on a Bollywood set because I felt very attacked. Suddenly, they would tell me, "You have to wear the swimsuit." And I said, "Oh, but I'm someone, from a very simple family. I'd never ever swam in my life. So wearing a swimsuit was totally foreign for me, right? It's a perspective. My daughter is born and brought up here. So perhaps if you tell her swimsuit, she'll say, no, let me wear a bikini. So it's totally different. While I was very surprised and shocked most of the time. Or suddenly they would say, now you've got to kiss this actor. This is the scene. And I would just muster up courage to say, but I'm sort of not ready. I didn't know that this wasn't told to me when I was signing the film. And it was interesting how I'm so sorry, the phone keeps ringing somehow connected to the my laptop here. And I realized why I never came across as professional or doing a good job in my movies is because I was always literally like a deer with the headlights on the deer's face. I was so nervous, even though the actors were really kind to me. And I must say, David Dhawan was wonderful, right? Varun's father, because we never celebrate and talk about the gentlemen in our film industry. And so it's so important, like Javed Akhtar Saab, he should be on the show if he isn't already. And, uh, David Dhawan was so kind. And you remember them because they were kind to a young girl who did not have the capacity or the huge hierarchy or position then. And so it really helps you understand psychological safety because immediately after that, Kiranji, through one of my interviews, the MTV crew was launching MTV in India, and they saw an interview of mine, and they saw this girl speaking in Hindi and English, and they called me and they said, "Oh, was that interview with you? Can you come for an audition with MTV?" I had no idea what it takes to be a VJ, but they literally, I mean, these were international people, but they were young. So they had very much the approach like you and Saina would have, really liberated, honest, authentic. I instantly shifted. From a person who was just so nervous and unsure, bloomed. And I was literally, I felt I was on fire because they said, now talk about your favorite singers. And so that was a shot in the arm for me because I became, you know, India Today was kind and people were kind to me and celebrated me as a youth icon then. So I really realized it's so important to have psychological safety. How do we provide it for our youth? You're doing such great work with lexicon management, with demonstrative learning. How can we do that? Because I saw it myself, how it changed for me. And so I was a different person. And then suddenly I was winning all the awards being in MTV. And I only acted different personas on MTV. I was never just a VJ. I always loved to bring these characters and make people laugh. And suddenly, this actress who was no good in movies suddenly shined. It was the same person. And that's what I'd like to say to corporations and schools through our wonderful school Baatcheet. Work on psychological safety. How do we bring it? So of course, loving people for who they are, allowing them to speak their honesty, allowing them the freedom to tell us what's going right, what's going wrong, to not push our values and our beliefs onto them. Let people speak, let people express themselves. And the children are concerned, allow them, meet them where they are, allow them to express themselves freely. And in organizations, I introduce community service because you take them for Langar Seva together. Suddenly, even where Google employees are concerned, and they could just be Indians who are brilliant on paper, but somehow a little hesitant in social integration. Take them for community service. Suddenly, they are talking about, oh, the Langar Seva is amazing. This is what we do in India. This is how we eat in India. There you go. You solved the problem of psychological safety with one wonderful exercise of community service and kindness.
So you've
So,
been an author as well. Tell us about your book. Tell us about your books. You've been an
so
author. Tell us about your
yes.
books.
So Kiranji, I've released one book with Penguin, and I'm writing my second book with Penguin. But my first book was all about mindful parenting. But it has a lovely catch: how to make children happy, and the children is sort of cancelled out, and it's parents. So with that, I wanted people to get the broader idea that trauma reenactment is really powerful, and generational trauma has to end with us. And so the greatest thing we can do is to, and there's nothing like perfect parenting, there's only the repair work. So very important for parents to know that we take a lot of pressure. How can I be a perfect parent? There's nothing called perfect parenting because we're immune to all the love we get. I'll give everything to my daughter, she'll still find certain issues that she'll feel very traumatic about. So the best thing is to do the repair work and to show up with humility, grace, and be authentic that, hey, I messed up and I'm so sorry, and how can we move on from this place? But the book Mindful Parenting and How to Have a Happy Family, my first book, talks about simple exercises that bring about a mindful atmosphere at home, which is music. So the Mozart phenomena has been deeply researched. It's a book that's backed by a lot of research because my mindful work has been with Jack Canfield, who always said, just back it with science, just back it with science. But it's so interesting to see. It's always such a beautiful circle because it was always talked about the Vedas so many years back. So we talk about painting together. We talk about art, why it's so important, because children learn to sort of draw and sketch much before they start to write words. Dancing, the power of dancing, why it's so important to look at yourself in the mirror and dance. It grows and burgeons your growth mindset. It's talking about chanting. It's talking about mothers using the oxygen mask theory. So look after yourselves first, because the children are there to look after themselves. They will. Um, so it talks about all these very simple philosophies that we can bring into our own life to have a mindful vibe, a mindful presence experience at home, because the home is so special. For example, I take great care, and Kiranji is inspired a generation, for women to be financially free. And it's so interesting, Kiranji, that Saina would agree with me that the entire definition of feminism is has sort of changed now, because it's really not about making lots of noise and speaking a lot and doing more, because you can have a woman who goes out there, works, and is creating impact, and then there could be a woman who's just cooking and nurturing her family and being the support system, perhaps for Kiranji, being the support for an Indra Nui. And that woman needs to be celebrated too. And she's a feminist too, because either of the lifestyles is actually not great if it wasn't her choice. So, equal agency, if you have equal agency, then that's what a feminist is. So, for me, it's a woman who will allow another woman, listen, you do what makes you happy. If cooking and being at home and being a homemaker brings you joy, I salute that thought and that amazing choice. And if you want to go out there and work and be a businesswoman, great, then that choice needs to be celebrated too. So, at home, I realized very quickly when I shifted after my marriage to London that I will be cooking a lot. And thankfully, I love my kitchen. And I realized that in India, why women who have to cook are so tired. I said, you've done everything. You've done all the amazing decor for your living room, but you've done no decor for the kitchen, because you're only doing the decor for people to come and have a look. I said, you're in the kitchen all day long. Make the kitchen a place which you love to come and enter in. And I've seen that people hate going into the kitchen, and not that I'm asking anyone to, but it's a life skill. It's something that we eventually work for, and it is one of the few experiences in life that awaken all our five senses, isn't it? That's why they say now
Yeah.
we can really connect over food. That's why the langar service is so amazing. So I would tell a lot of women who would say, oh, मुझे kitchen में जाने का शौक नहीं है. पहले आप kitchen को थोड़ा आप जैसे आप बनाना चाहते हैं वैसे आप बना लें. पर ज़रूरत नहीं है तो नहीं जाएँ, not a problem. But I did that. I think my kitchen is like a temple for me. Because I did whatever I could, Kiranji. I knew the life that I was leading. It was with a wonderful, simple man who works very hard, and we are working hard to make a happy life. So that's not too difficult. If you want a simple life, it actually is a joyful life. Yeah.
How lovely. How so much.
Beautiful.
Back to sign up.
I need to ask you something, but before that, you speak from your heart always. So we're going to show you your heart, and then we're going to talk about my question. But we show you your heart first.
Pranam, Dr. Bedi. It is such an honour to speak to you today. I am a huge fan of yours and I really hope we can meet soon. So I'd like to talk about the people who I love and look up to me. I mean, who I look up to. I'm sorry. You, of course. Dear Miza, and my mum and dad. and Sir David Attenborough, Nobel laureate Kagashi. I really like them because they made different changes in the world. Like Sir David Attenborough, he's inspired children like me. Kalashi, he's saving children. Isn't that amazing? Like, any man can be brave enough like him to just do all those wonderful things. And you, Dr. Baby, I respect you. I like to be brave like you. You know, what do I love doing? Plogging. It's jogging and picking up litter. It's really fun. Instead of sitting there and complaining, I actually come and pick up litter. And it helps the environment. It's fun. Watering trees, planting 100 trees in Ahmedabad, it makes me happy. And you know what? Plugging is also great for mental health. And it's the latest fitness trend. For the world is for it to be a peaceful world. Everyone, friends and family getting along and not fighting. And leaders not fighting too! Lovely, Dr. Baby. And I love you. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Oh.
Raageshwari, can I tell you something? I've been waiting for this moment because I wanted to tell you and tell her that this Baatcheet today is for her. She is the star of the show. She is the star. Now she is the star. Now tell me how do you feel? Has it all?
It's a coup of sorts, isn't it? It's a coup of sorts.
Now, has each experience of your life been for your motherhood? Has it all led to?
Oh my goodness. Saina,
She's an
firstly, I'm so happy to see that because she's passed her message to Kiranji. Isn't that so special?
She's a star. Tell her that she's the star of the show today. This Baatcheet is for her.
We were never had something like a unique thing ever on our Baatcheet of this kind.
I am truly talking to the mother. I want to talk to the mother because I feel it's all led to that. I feel it's really she's an extension of you.
It's totally an extension.
Oh, Kiranji, you're so kind. Thank you. She's your baby. And she's so inspired by you. And I always show her these parts, and you'll be proud that, she's not seen Bollywood films. Not that they're bad, but just that there are such few films that are made for children, and so you'll be very happy to see the path she's taking. She's going to make you proud. She's very connected to the world and the news and what's happening in the world and how leadership should be, how you have taken, such leaps and swam against the tide. So you'll be, it'll be an honor for her to meet you, but you'll really be happy to meet her. She's a firecracker, totally. And and Kiranji, I'm reminded of a lot of women who did not have the blessing of being a mother, of what I mean, a biological mother, because I think Mothering Day, as they say, we are naturally, if you're a woman, you're naturally a mother because we naturally know how to nurture. So such an emotional journey. It's an emotional journey for me because I was told I will never have children because I had a retroverted uterus, endometriosis, severe endometriosis. I have a severe thyroid issue. It's only thanks to yoga and Ayurveda that I really could transform my life. So at the age of 40, I conceived Samaya naturally. So I always celebrate Mother's Day with a lot of reflection that it's an emotional day for many women because even when I was told I will not have a child, it's an alienating journey, even if you have a community, even if so, women carry that big burden of, oh, I better be a mother and then I better be a good one. So for me, Samaya is, challenges me, Saina, at all times. She really creates her own rules. Like at the beginning of, as soon as COVID ended, she started cleaning streets. I was very surprised that she was totally into blogging and she has a mad obsession. And for our, for your amazing management at Lexicon and Demonstrative Learning, if it helps, because I'm open, she's a firecracker and she has a profile of a ADHD and a dyslexic child. So she thinks very differently. She has high empathy. So when she meets you, she is going to give you like the biggest bear hug. And so she said, I have to clean streets. Mad obsession. I have to clean the street. We have to stop the bus. If when we take the tube, if she sees garbage, she has a litter picker with her at all times that she folds and puts in a backpack. And she loves doing that. And she's inspired by people such as you and Sir David Attenborough and Kailash ji and Dia Mirza. So it's I'm just supporting her, and she questions everybody in the school. She questions everything. Why are certain leaders in their position, if they're not doing their job well, or why are leaders not getting along? So I allow her journey, and I just try to be a supportive mother. But there's only, and there's the discipline, Saina, to answer your question, the discipline is only for being kind. I just want her to be really well mannered and really be kind, because I think if you're kind, you have more power to sustain, and you don't have to raise your voice. You can just have a sharp thought, and then your lines are not blurred, and you'll make good choices. So that's the only thing. Um, and so,
You
so
had
Okay,
that's
experience.
so I'm going to
Uh,
ask you two.
Rageshwar, you go ahead. Saina, I'll ask her about her Nobel experience when she was
Yes,
with.
acha, ठीक है. You want to talk about that first, and then I can share my thoughts with you. Tell us about.
Tell us about your being at the Nobel Award.
okay. G. So you and I were talking about something interesting, and how our lovely Nobel laureate Kailash ji has been on your show, and it's thanks to Kiran ji that I've had the honor of working with Kailash ji. So a lot of my work, which has got to do with mind power, and I only talk about everything that's backed by science, because in the corporate world I have to do that. So when I was talking about mind power, I talk a lot about vision boards, that why it's so important for, your brain sees in pictures. So very important for our students to create vision boards, so that you're not swayed away by everything that you see during the course of the day. And that's what's so important. If you're writing a book, or if there's a certain project that you wish to finish, or if you're giving an exam, this is the score that you visualize for yourself. So I was talking about all of this, and Kiranji is the rare breed, right? Who's academically so, right, off the charts, and spiritually off the charts as well. Now, my husband is only very academic, like Oxford, Cambridge scholar, being the president of the Cambridge Union. He said, "What are you saying, that you just put up pictures and then suddenly things come true?" I said, "No, it's not that they just come true. It's called the Tetris effect, and the brain gets these amazing triggers. It's like setting a GPS." So he found it really funny. So I created a vision board just for fun. And I put his picture. I said, "See, you're into human rights. So the ultimate goal is the Nobel Peace Prize." So he started laughing. I said, "Don't worry. It's not that the Nobel Prize is coming, but you want to put it up in the vision board." So we put that up, and I put it in his study. And he would laugh. And that's the perfect emotion to carry when you want something in life. Don't be worried and stressed about it. I put the picture, and within 2 months, I always do this to the students so that they have fun with manifestation. We got a call from the Nobel Peace Center saying that Sudhanshu had done a lot of human rights work in Afghanistan. I'd done a lot of work with children rescued from terrorist training camps. Said, "We'd love for you both to come and be guests at the Nobel Peace Center."
Oh, nice,
And I
oh,
was
nice.
asked to sing there. So finally, thank you, darling Kiranji. It's all your blessings. And finally, he started to agree with the philosophy and the science behind a vision board. So that's how we ended up being at the Nobel Peace Center.
Oh, lovely. What a lovely linkage. You
Margaret,
manifest. It was a manifestation. Now tell me
yes.
then what happened. Then you went there, then what happened?
Well, we had a lovely time. I sang. We met up with lovely Malala. We met up with Kailash, and then I did a lot of wonderful work with Kailash. He's starting the amazing movement of building compassionate communities. So every time he comes, and he met Samaya when she was very little, and she's still little, but so it's introduced Samaya to interesting, diverse people. So I tried my level best that just because I come from the entertainment industry, it's unfair to only introduce her to that. And that's the sad truth of all my Bollywood friends, except Farah Khan. Because Farah is amazing. She has triplets, amazing
Oh,
diva,
really?
Anya and Zar. Yeah, she has triplets. And Kiranji, she manifested it, she says, and she laughs. She always jokes. She said, I manifested the triplets. She said, without the husband. Farah is so funny. So she's such a breath of fresh air. But
We have to
that's a
get her on the
beauty.
show. We have to
You
get her on
have
the show,
to.
and you have to
She
help
would
us get her
done.
on the show.
Done. She would just be brilliant and just bring
And
the
then
house
then we will bring you into the Baatcheet also along with her as a
for
friend.
sure. Indeed.
Acha.
Her
Rajeshwari,
children.
yes, 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 yes. You want to complete your thought? I'll ask you
Yes.
again.
So, Farah is amazing in that aspect as well, to really bring her children and introduce them to different worlds. Her children are into art and sciences. They travel across the world. They are into charitable work. And they're such humble, well brought up, kind, compassionate kids, and totally unaware about that they belong to a film family. They're very well read, very well informed, and most importantly really kind with everybody. The way they treat their staff is seen to be believed. So it says a lot about Farah and her husband Shirish.
Lovely.
Wonderful.
Okay, two questions coming to my mind
Yes.
since a while. Maybe some maybe their thoughts and you connect them. When the breakdown happens, and then the breakthrough happens, we celebrate the breakthrough, and then we say yes, हमने breakdown को breakthrough में convert करा. But वो जो breakdown की journey होती है,
Yeah.
that's massive,
Oh yeah.
and that's lonely, because that's not a time when a lot of people believe in you.
Oh yeah.
So it's human grace. The second part of this question is a breakdown where you're in the public eye and certain things affect your appearance, because I've gone through that personally. I've had vitiligo since the age of 13. Anything affecting your appearance
Yeah.
is not a very easy challenge to handle. Again, it's you and grace. So, how do you keep yourself together during the breakdown? Because sometimes you can just barely take the next step.
Yeah.
So, how do you keep yourself together during the breakdown? And what did you do? Because we are talking about that part.
Wow. Yeah. Now there are such amazing, interesting insights coming into my mind, and maybe have grace so that I can justify the depth of your questions. So, you were talking about the breakdown, and as you say, that we become alone by default. But that's the beauty, as Swami Vivekananda would say, please spend time with yourself, because that's going to be, it's the creation of great miracles. But we don't spend time with ourselves. We are running from pillar to post, or from the youth, perhaps from one job to the other, relationship to relationship. And I think when really the universe or the Lord or the goddesses wants you to really evolve, we have to go into isolation. And that's why by default, when I had the facial paralysis, I was alone, because totally rejected, and rejected not negatively. Why would anybody want to work with someone with a lopsided face? So you can look at it from a balanced perspective, right? It's the business. So I had to be alone. And because friends, well meaning friends, were asking me, what's wrong with your face? What's wrong with your face? That would get me more dejected. I chose to be by myself. And when I chose to be by myself, I was meditative. And that was a turning point, because I started to realize the kingdom lies within, as Swami Vivekananda so beautifully would say. And that introduced me to gratitude. My mother would consistently say, Beta shukar karo, things could have been worse. Beta shukar karo. I didn't hear her, because I did not have the depth or the stillness or the presence to even allow that thought to enter. But it's only when I was alone I could understand what she's saying. And then when I went for my electrical stimulation, finally to a public space with a doctor, I then saw people who were paralyzed neck down, and paralyzed the right side of the body or the left side of the body, or someone who's had a stroke for the second time and then has had a divorce because of that. I realized, oh, my problem is such a non-starter. And to get to that point, that your problem is a non starter, that is a turning point. So that's why they say, right, gratitude is a mother of all emotions. Because if you can actually get to gratitude, and we all have something to be grateful for, and especially for people who are ill, find something. I'm sure there's something. Perhaps your grandchildren who love you. Perhaps you have legs that work. Perhaps you can digest your food. Or perhaps you've just watched a good film. Or perhaps you have a phone that you can see some inspirational TED Talks on. Get your point to one thing that brings about gratitude in you, because it anyways, as science proves, it doubles your immunity. It doubles your immunity. That means it builds your optimism. It builds your optimism. There you go. You've changed your mindset. And one thought at a time. So we don't have time for that. And that's why breakdowns are fabulous. I talk about the diamond metaphor a lot with children. The world is chasing diamonds, but what is diamond? It's actually just carbon without the heat and the pressure. And so our brain is very much aligned to the same philosophy. It needs the pressure, it needs the heat, it needs the rejection to then arise and come flying like a phoenix. Then you'll realize what resilience is. And so when the asteroid hit planet Earth, it wasn't the greatest of species or the strongest of species that survived. They were the most adaptable ones, the small adaptable species. So it's adaptability that we need. Fine, I've lost my face. I started to work and train as a kindergarten teacher and as a Reebok's fitness instructor, because at that point I thought, with this kind of a face, I'm not going back to show business. So I was ready. And because of that readiness, I had taken away the pressure of off my shoulders. And I said, okay, fine, I'm going to change the trajectory of my life. But doing that changed the energy and changed my energy field. So I was now with positive people, and I was thinking about a positive life ahead, a different life, a positive life. So find something that's going to change the way you think. And that's the beginning of your breakdown becoming a breakthrough. And we must welcome breakdowns. We must change the definition. We must tell our children. So Samaya, even at this age, she understands. So this is a challenge. Oh wow, I'm glad this has happened. So every time she falls, she says, oh, it's a challenge. So we've got to change the way we teach challenges to our children. Rabindranath Tagore ji had such a beautiful quote, right? That I pray, don't take away the challenges, just give me the strength to face them. Yeah. Quote something similar to saying, just give me the grace and the courage to face the challenges. So that's a life changing moment in our life, and we all need it.
पहले
Wonderful.
तो ना पहले तो
Wonderful.
पहले तो before we proceed, माँ bless Samaya. बच्चा शो में आए, she's spoken her heart, माँ bless her. माँ keep her protected, and in Ma's Sharan, may she always remain protected. Okay, now another thought coming to my mind. They're all thoughts.
Thank you, Saina. She's your baby. She is your little baby too.
She's special. She's very special. Coming to a thought, a worry as a mother. I have seen a lot of life very closely, various aspects of life. Madhari has given me birth in a very privileged home, a lot of power, position, privileges, influence, and the prasad of seeing life very, very closely. Ma has made me a grassroots worker. I understand life, what happens so called backstage. I understand life, what's happening right there on the streets, courts, police stations, hospitals, prisons, people's homes. Seen it all.
Yeah.
क्या सिखाओ अपने बच्चे को, ये मैं आपसे पूछ रही हूँ, क्योंकि फिर मेरी एक रिक्वेस्ट है कि फिर ना अपने बच्चों को फिर एक 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 कम्युनिटी दो जो थोड़ी सी सेफ गार्डेड है, और आपके इट्स अकॉर्डिंग टू योर बिलीफ सिस्टम, योर थॉट प्रोसेस, बिकॉज दीज आर एक्सट्रीम्स.
Gee, yes,
लाइफ इज फुल ऑफ दीज एक्सट्रीम्स.
sure.
हम बच्चों को हर चीज के साथ एक्सपोज नहीं कर सकते. Other than making them aware of reality, maybe through now they can volunteer time and see a lot of documentaries. They can be sensitive to human life. There are
Yes.
qualities that are coexisting, which I don't personally wish any child should see. But
Yeah,
those are very, very strong realities of life.
sure.
So a lot of things that I talk to them are very different from what I'm talking to you right now.
What is your question to her?
It's a thought. How do you, because it's a thought. It's a thought from a mother to a mother. How do you know that such realities exist?
Yeah. You know,
Take child.
so I wouldn't hide anything from. I talk very deep things with her.
Huh.
You know, as Kiranji would know, and Kiranji may have shared about all of that. I just want her to be brave enough to help people, to know that she comes from a privileged family, as in we're not a business family. She knows that her parents work very hard. And I want her to back herself with the knowledge, whether it's the science and whether it's the Vedas, that actually teach us that suppressed pain brings about a whole lot of issues into the society. I want her to have that foundation, behind when she meets people, and probably if they are not kind, or if they're harsh, or if they're the worst criminals, or they're the most compassionate people. So I want her to understand that when she meets a kind person, it's because they had a very kind, privileged, happy life. And when she meets criminals, probably they've had that kind of an upbringing. But to hate the crime and not hate the criminal. It's very, very important for her to back herself with that knowledge. But I allow her to be the way she is. But I consistently tell her that, if you have a powerful mind and if you have a powerful kingdom within, You will be able to face any situation. Uh, there's a very interesting analogy to that we teach, children. Wayne Dyer would often talk about it. He would bring an orange on stage and say, "So this is an orange. If I cut it and if I squeeze it, what's going to come out of it? Apple juice, right?" And people say, "No, no, 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 the pineapple juice, right?" He said, "No, no, 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 no. Okay, carrot juice, right?" He'd say, "No, orange juice." And he would say, "Why? Why orange juice?" He said, "Because there's an orange inside. And if you create force, then orange juice comes out." And he would say, that's the human spirit. When you trigger someone, what comes out is basically what's within. So I personally, that's why consistently, even on social media, I train people and I say, don't look at the trolls, because what's within is that's what's coming out. And so don't get too swayed by kind words either, because that also reflects them. And I want Samaya to know that, but I don't want her to move away. I want her to probably walk in Dr. Kiranji's footsteps and change the world, because it's amazing. Kiranji has the power to change the entire trajectory of someone's life. It could be a woman who.
Rageshwari, can I ask you? Can I ask you in closing, because we have to do a wind up?
That was a great closing. That was a great closing.
Now 1 minute. Yeah, it was a closing, but finally, in brief, what does living life fully mean to you today?
Living mindfully.
Living life fully today. In closing, that's your message. What does living life fully mean today to you? Living your life fully, what does it mean?
For me, it would be kindness is catching. I just really want to be a person who, people will forget what I wear or what I say, but I don't want them to ever forget how I made them feel. So it's one of my favorite quotes. My father would often say that. And so for me, living life fully at this age today is really speaking kind words, be it with my partner, my wonderful husband, my child, my in-laws, my parents, or every person I meet. Perhaps they could do nothing for me in return. And my kindness should not be transactional. It should simply be overflowing, because that sort of enriches me. At this point, that's what helps me. And now science tells us that it totally helps you live longer and happier and a more fulfilled life.
It's back to giving. It's back to compassion. Giving.
Oh, totally.
This is exactly what Mr. Kailash Satyarthi is moving towards. It's a life of compassion, a movement of compassion. So you talk about kindness, compassion, and giving. A life of giving is a life fully being led.
Yeah. Because it changes your life, it changes the person who you're kind towards, it also changes and impacts the person who's watching you be kind.
So kindness.
Yes.
Saina, we can say thank you to her.
We don't want to. We want to keep talking to her.
We can go backstage stuff.
Looking forward to seeing you in Delhi one day if you come by.
Of course, cannot wait. Kiranji,
Thank you so
koti pranam to you. Saina, love you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you to everybody watching us in Baatcheet.
And please tell Samaya, tell her Saina auntie said she is the star of the show, and Ma bless her. May grace keep her always.
And lots of regards to your family who made you, who's behind you, your husband and your family completely.
So
thank them and our greetings for them. Thank you.
Biggest
So
hug.
honored.
Biggest
Thank you, Rakesh.
Biggest hug.
Thank you.
Lots of love. Jai Dhari. Biggest hug.
Hug.